Massive alien ships hung in the sky above Earth's oceans like dark clouds, their metallic hulls reflecting the sunlight and casting giant shadows over the waves below. The aliens had come with one purpose: to claim the seas as their own. Their scanners moved across the water constantly, sweeping every surface and depth with beams of cold light, marking every human vessel, every whale, and even the smallest ripple on the ocean surface. From the coasts of every continent, humans watched the sky in horror as the fleet hovered silently, enormous and unstoppable. Panic spread quickly in the coastal cities as people realized the aliens were not merely visiting, they were here to take control. Naval bases mobilized, sending warships into formation, submarines dived to defend the depths, and every coastal authority prepared for confrontation, but the humans could feel the futility in their efforts. The aliens deployed drones first, small and fast machines with glowing sensors, skimming above and below the waves, scanning for resistance, while massive underwater mech suits, shaped like deep-sea monsters, moved methodically through the trenches and shallows. Each mech emitted a low hum that vibrated through the water, sending schools of fish scattering in all directions. The drones began marking targets for the mech suits, identifying fishing vessels, research submarines, and even the occasional cargo ship. People on shore could see the lights flicker under the water, as if the ocean itself had been invaded. Despite all this, no one noticed the shadows moving silently in the deepest trenches, far below where the sunlight could reach. Massive forms shifted in the darkness, eyes glowing faintly, watching every alien movement. These creatures were unlike anything humans had ever imagined. They were not simple predators, but intelligent beings, ancient guardians of the deep who had survived millennia without human notice. Their fins and tentacles moved with precision, circling the alien drones without a sound. Every motion was calculated, almost as if they were studying their enemy, learning the alien patterns, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. On the surface, humans watched helplessly as the alien fleet seemed unstoppable. Families huddled together on the shores, ships were deployed as quickly as they could be manned, and military leaders communicated frantically, trying to understand the scale of the invasion. Yet, they had no idea that the ocean itself was alive and aware. Beneath the waves, the creatures communicated in clicks, pulses, and vibrations, signaling each other, forming a network that extended across thousands of kilometers. It was silent to human ears but precise and effective in guiding their movements. The aliens, confident in their technological superiority, had assumed the oceans would be easy to dominate. They laughed among themselves as their drones marked human vessels, oblivious to the massive eyes tracking them from the shadows. They had no idea that the guardians of the deep were not only strong but strategic, able to anticipate attacks and coordinate countermeasures without the humans even knowing. From the air, the alien command ships lowered more scanners, adjusting their readings and marking areas for a full strike. Below the water, small crevices and underwater canyons became staging grounds for the creatures. Some of the alien mech suits were dragged partially into trenches, and when the aliens tried to pull them back, the machines were crushed by the immense strength of tentacles hidden in the darkness. Panic began to rise among the alien ranks as the first of their drones were destroyed without explanation, vanishing into the depths like they had been swallowed by the ocean itself. On shore, humans remained unaware of exactly what was happening below, but the subtle vibrations, small tremors, and sudden silences in communications suggested something unusual. The military scientists monitoring sonar data were the first to notice the pattern. The drones were disappearing not due to technical malfunctions but because of something massive and intelligent moving in the deep. Suspense built as humans realized that the ocean was not merely water to them, it was home to ancient powers they had never known existed. The aliens, arrogant in their assumption, thought Earth's waters were theirs for the taking, that technology and firepower would suffice to conquer every wave. Yet, the shadows of the Guardians moved silently, waiting for the moment to strike, circling the alien fleet with unseen precision, preparing to turn the tide of the battle in a way no one could have imagined. The humans, watching from above, could only hope that these Guardians would act in their favor, not fully understanding the scale or the power of the forces lying beneath them. The ocean was alive, aware, and deadly, and the aliens had made a fatal mistake. They believed they controlled the waters, but they were already in the heart of the ocean's trap. The first strike was coming, and neither humans nor aliens were fully ready for what lurked beneath the waves. Shadows larger than submarines glided in formation, cutting through the darkness, waiting for the alien fleet to make a mistake. Every alien drone that came too close was swiftly pulled into the abyss, disappearing as if swallowed by the ocean itself. The tension in the water was palpable. Above, humans held their breath. They did not yet understand the full power of the ocean, but they could feel it, the first whispers of a battle that would shake the seas and forever change the relationship between humans, aliens, and the deep. Suspense built higher as the alien fleet continued their operation, unaware of the imminent danger, thinking that Earth was just another world to conquer. The shadows moved closer, faster, and smarter. The ocean was preparing to fight back, and when it did, the galaxy would learn that Earth's waters were never meant to be controlled by outsiders. The alien drones moved steadily across the ocean surface, scanning for anything that could challenge their control. Each mech suit, enormous and armed with energy weapons, patrolled the depths, sending vibrations and sonar pulses to detect resistance. The aliens were confident, believing the oceans were theirs, but deep below, the shadows of the Guardians were already moving, watching every action with intelligence and patience. Suddenly, a massive tentacle shot out of the darkness, crushing a drone with a single, precise strike. The metal twisted and sparks flew into the water as the drone disappeared into the abyss. On the surface, the alien command ships registered a sudden signal loss and sent more drones to investigate. More drones followed, only to vanish in the same manner. Panic began to ripple through the alien ranks. They had not anticipated any kind of organized resistance from Earth's oceans, thinking only of humans, who were weak and predictable. But these Guardians were neither human nor simple animals. Their movements were coordinated. Each strike was calculated, designed to dismantle the alien machinery while remaining hidden from the humans above. In a hidden submarine, a young human scientist named Dr. Mara Sullivan watched through reinforced glass and sonar screens. She had studied the ocean for years but had never seen anything like this. The massive creatures moved as if they understood her signals, responding almost instantly to her subtle instructions. "They know exactly what to do," she whispered, awe and fear mixing in her voice. Her team relayed her observations to Naval Command, but many officers dismissed them at first, thinking the strange movements were coincidences or sonar errors. Meanwhile, the alien fleet was beginning to feel the pressure. Mech suits designed to crush anything in the deep were dragged into trenches and crushed. Alien pilots screamed over comms, desperate to escape, but their suits were too slow and too heavy to react against the speed and strength of the Guardians. From the ocean surface, humans could see flashes of light and hear muffled sounds as drones were destroyed and mech suits were disabled. The alien commanders tried to coordinate a counterattack, deploying more drones and calling for reinforcements, but each move was anticipated and countered. It was as if the ocean itself was alive, directing the Guardians with a precision that no technology could match. The humans watched in growing amazement, realizing that the ocean was not just a battlefield, it was an ally. The creatures responded to subtle signals Mara and her team had discovered, using vibrations, sonar pulses, and movement patterns to coordinate attacks. Every drone destroyed sent a ripple of hope through human forces, and every mech suit dragged into the depths reminded the aliens that Earth was not theirs to claim. Panic spread among the alien ranks as even their elite commanders struggled to maintain control. They had underestimated the intelligence of the oceans and the strategy of the creatures. Some attempted to retreat, but the Guardians were relentless. Massive forms circled the alien vessels, dragging them deeper, crushing or disabling each one with skill and coordination. On the surface, humans began to engage more directly. Submarines equipped with advanced weapons joined the fight, firing coordinated shots to distract the aliens while the Guardians struck from below. The alien fleet had never faced such unpredictable opposition. Every strike, every move, every retreat was anticipated and met with deadly precision. The Ocean Guardians were teaching the aliens that Earth's waters could not be conquered. Meanwhile, Mara noticed patterns in the Guardians' movements that suggested a hierarchy and intelligence beyond normal comprehension. They communicated silently, adjusting their attacks, guarding the humans, and ensuring the aliens were always in danger. The aliens were trapped in a world they thought was simple, easy to dominate, but the ocean was proving to be alive, aware, and deadly. Even the humans were learning from the Guardians, coordinating attacks and defenses, building a new kind of strategy that combined technology with the raw power of the deep. Waves erupted as mech suits were pulled under, dragging massive portions of alien equipment into trenches, never to be seen again. Communications from the alien command ships grew frantic, their confidence shattered as they realized they had walked into a trap they could not understand. The humans above could only watch, amazed at the power and intelligence hidden beneath the surface of their own planet. Suspense grew as the alien fleet tried to regroup, forming defensive lines while the Guardians continued to strike with lethal efficiency. Mara and her team could see that the tide of battle was shifting, that the oceans were not just defending themselves, they were teaching a lesson no alien would forget. The drones were no longer tools of surveillance, they were bait for the Guardians, lured into ambushes and destroyed. The alien mechs, once symbols of power and terror, were now vulnerable, crushed by forces the aliens had never imagined. Humans cheered quietly in submarines and observation posts, realizing that their planet's oceans were alive with defenders they had never known existed. The aliens, desperate and confused, tried to retreat, but the Guardians' coordination was flawless, covering every approach, attacking every weak point. Panic and fear spread across the alien fleet, and their once confident leaders began issuing orders in desperation, unable to comprehend the power and intelligence arrayed against them. Suspense reached its peak as the humans and ocean guardians continued their deadly collaboration, striking at the aliens with unstoppable precision, setting the stage for a battle that would determine the control of Earth's waters forever. No one on either side could predict what would happen next, but one thing was certain: the oceans were alive, aware, and ready to defend the planet with deadly force. The aliens tried to regroup, retreating slightly to assess the unexpected threat below the waves, but the humans and the Guardians of the Deep were already planning their counterattack. On the surface, naval ships moved into strategic positions, while submarines slipped silently beneath the waves, armed with torpedoes and sonic disruptors designed to distract the alien fleet. The Guardians, sensing the humans' intentions, coordinated their movements with precision, forming a pattern around the alien vessels that cut off escape routes and created confusion among the invaders. Massive tentacles lashed out from the trenches, grabbing drones mid-flight and crushing them effortlessly. The alien mechs, previously confident in their armored suits and advanced weaponry, now found themselves trapped in underwater ambushes, dragged into dark crevices and immobilized by the incredible strength of the creatures below. From the command ships above, alien officers shouted in frustration, their voices barely audible through the water as communications failed and drones continued to vanish without a trace. The humans had learned to read the movements of the Guardians, predicting when and where the next strike would happen. Dr. Mara Sullivan, sitting in a research submarine, monitored every pulse and vibration, issuing commands to her team to synchronize their attacks with the Guardians' movements. Torpedoes fired at the alien mechs at the precise moment a tentacle would strike from below, ensuring that every hit was fatal and that the aliens could not recover. The alien fleet had underestimated the intelligence of Earth's oceans and the humans who had learned to work with them. Fear spread quickly among the invaders as their advanced machinery was destroyed one by one, proving that brute force alone could not conquer the planet. The Guardians moved in a fluid, coordinated dance, wrapping around alien mechs and drones, crushing or disabling them while keeping the humans safe. Above the waves, humans on naval ships watched in awe as the ocean seemed to come alive, the water itself moving as if it had a mind and a plan. Waves erupted violently as massive creatures breached the surface briefly, sending water crashing onto the decks of alien ships, further disorienting their forces. Alien pilots struggled to maintain control, firing weapons at shadows that moved too fast and were too smart to hit. Every strike from the humans above was followed perfectly by the Guardians below, creating a deadly synchronization the aliens could neither anticipate nor counter. On observation decks, human leaders realized that they were witnessing something extraordinary. The oceans of Earth were not passive, lifeless bodies of water, but ancient, intelligent forces capable of defending the planet against the most advanced technology in the galaxy. The alien fleet, now panicked, tried to retreat, but the Guardians' strategy anticipated every move. Tentacles rose from trenches to intercept mechs, crushing their armor with ease, while drones sent to cover the retreat were torn apart mid-flight. The humans, emboldened by the success of the Guardians, pressed the attack, moving their submarines closer to key targets and using their weapons with precision. Each torpedo, each maneuver was timed to perfection with the strikes from below, creating a relentless pressure on the alien fleet. The aliens had expected resistance from humans, but not from the oceans themselves. Panic became chaos as command structures broke down and pilots abandoned their mechs, swimming frantically toward escape pods while others tried desperately to re-establish control. The humans watched in growing excitement as the tables turned. What had begun as a defensive fight was now an offensive strike to push the aliens away from their planet. The Guardians of the Deep moved like shadows in a choreographed assault, circling alien ships and mechs, striking at weaknesses and disappearing before counterattacks could succeed. Waves of attacks came simultaneously from the humans above and the Guardians below, leaving the aliens confused, disoriented, and terrified. Dr. Mara Sullivan and her team coordinated sonar signals with the Guardians, ensuring that every alien vessel faced overwhelming opposition. In moments, the alien drones were destroyed, and the mechs immobilized or dragged into trenches, never to rise again. Alien communications became frantic, their arrogance replaced with panic, and many began questioning their leader's strategy. No one had expected such intelligence from the oceans or such precise coordination with humans. It was as if the planet itself had risen against the invaders, teaching a lesson about underestimating those it protected. From the human perspective, hope grew stronger with each alien machine destroyed. The synchronized attacks demonstrated that the oceans were not only defenders but also allies, working seamlessly with humans to reclaim control. Alien ships that had once hovered menacingly over coastal cities now found themselves trapped in a deadly net, surrounded on all sides by forces they could not comprehend. Above and below the waves, battle continued with relentless energy, and the suspense grew as no one, not the aliens, not the humans, and certainly not the Guardians themselves, knew how the confrontation would end. The ocean's Guardians were relentless, adapting to every alien strategy, teaching humans new ways to fight and survive. Alien leaders shouted orders that went unanswered, watching as their forces were destroyed systematically. The humans, guided by the Guardians, struck with efficiency, their morale soaring as they realized Earth was not defenseless. The first phase of the counterattack had begun, and the aliens understood for the first time that conquering Earth's waters would be far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The deep had awakened, the humans had risen to work with it, and the galaxy had never seen a battle like this. Suspense built as the alien fleet tried to form a final line of defense, unaware that the ocean and its Guardians had already outmaneuvered them at every turn, preparing to drive the invaders away completely, changing the balance of power on Earth forever. The alien fleet, battered and confused, struggled to regroup as the humans and the Guardians of the Deep pressed their advantage. From the surface, naval ships fired carefully aimed missiles, while submarines moved silently beneath the waves, using the Guardians' guidance to strike at weak points in alien armor. The massive ocean creatures moved with terrifying speed and precision, crushing alien mechs, dragging drones into trenches, and circling the larger ships to prevent escape. Alien commanders shouted frantic orders, but their troops were scattered and panicked, their confidence shattered by a foe they could not see and could not predict. On observation decks, human officers cheered quietly as they watched the aliens' formations collapse one by one. Dr. Mara Sullivan coordinated signals with the Guardians, ensuring that every human strike above was mirrored by a Guardian strike below, creating a perfect symphony of destruction. The aliens tried to counterattack, sending their fastest mechs to intercept the submarines and Guardians, but every move was anticipated. Massive tentacles burst from the deep, smashing enemy craft and dragging armored ships into the ocean trenches. Drones sent to flank the humans were intercepted and destroyed, leaving the alien fleet vulnerable on all sides. Humans and Guardians worked together seamlessly, timing attacks so that alien forces could never recover. Every vessel that had once seemed invincible now found itself trapped and crushed by forces it had underestimated. From the coastlines, human observers watched flashes of light and felt tremors as the Guardians tore through enemy machines, their massive forms moving like shadows beneath the waves. The aliens had thought they controlled Earth's waters, but now they realized they were fighting an enemy far stronger than they had imagined. Even elite alien pilots were falling back in terror, abandoning their machines and attempting to retreat in escape pods, only to find themselves intercepted by the Guardians. The humans above were emboldened by every victory, launching coordinated strikes against the remaining alien ships while the Guardians ensured no reinforcements could reach them. The aliens' confidence turned to chaos, their tightly planned strategies collapsing under the combined assault of humans and the deep-sea creatures. From the command ships, alien leaders struggled to maintain control, but each attempt to regroup was foiled by a new wave of attacks. The Guardians' movements were flawless, their intelligence and speed unmatched by any machine. Deep trenches became traps where entire squads of alien mechs were destroyed. The humans learned quickly, adjusting their attacks to complement the Guardians, targeting supply lines, communications arrays, and weapon systems. Every victory boosted human morale, showing them that Earth's oceans were not only alive but also allies in the defense of the planet. Alien drones that had once patrolled fearlessly were now scattered wrecks, and their mechs crushed or immobilized in the deep. Even the largest alien ships were being forced back toward open water, where the Guardians and human submarines could continue their relentless attacks. The tide of battle had turned completely. What had started as a defensive maneuver became an offensive strike to reclaim the oceans and protect humanity. The aliens, once arrogant and confident, now faced a coordinated force that combined human intelligence, strategy, and technology with the overwhelming power of the Ocean Guardians. Coastal cities were safe for the first time in days, and humans celebrated small victories while maintaining careful coordination with the creatures below. Every strike the humans made was enhanced by the Guardians' silent, powerful presence, and every failure of the aliens strengthened the humans' resolve. The alien fleet, demoralized and decimated, tried desperately to retreat, but the Guardians blocked every path, forcing the invaders into traps that resulted in more destruction. The humans, for the first time in generations, felt the thrill of victory, their planet defending itself with intelligence and force. From submarines and observation posts, humans could see the scale of the Ocean Guardians' strength and the precision with which they struck. Even alien leaders could not comprehend the level of coordination and strategy displayed by Earth's defenders. Panic turned into desperation, and desperation into fear, as every alien vessel faced annihilation from above and below simultaneously. Dr. Mara Sullivan smiled grimly, knowing that their careful planning and the Guardians' guidance had finally put humans in control. The alien fleet's losses were staggering, and their morale was shattered beyond repair. The Guardians had proven their power, intelligence, and loyalty to Earth, while humans demonstrated that technology combined with nature's force could overcome even the most advanced invaders. Waves crashed violently as Guardians surfaced briefly to strike enemy ships, creating chaos and confusion, while submarines delivered decisive blows. The aliens had underestimated the depth of Earth's oceans and the intelligence of its defenders, and now they were paying the ultimate price. By the end of the day, the alien fleet was in full retreat, their dominance over Earth's waters completely broken. Humans watched as their allies, the Guardians, returned to the depths, leaving a clear message: Earth was alive, aware, and ready to defend itself. Suspense remained high, for the aliens would not give up easily, and humans knew that the final phase of the battle was approaching. But for the first time, the oceans and the humans had shown the galaxy that no one could claim Earth without consequences. The tide had turned, and the planet had begun to fight back with unstoppable force, changing the balance of power forever. The alien fleet, now scattered and demoralized, tried desperately to regroup in the open waters far from human coastal cities. They believed that distance would give them an advantage, that they could repair their machines and strike again. But humans and the Guardians of the Deep had prepared a trap far larger and more powerful than anything the aliens could anticipate. Submarines silently patrolled the deep currents, guided by sonar signals and coordinated with the Guardians who had already mapped every movement above and below the waves. Massive ocean creatures positioned themselves strategically, waiting for the precise moment to strike. From command submarines, human officers communicated with the Guardians through a series of pulses and signals, creating perfect synchronization. The alien ships, unaware of the trap, moved confidently into the kill zone, sending drones ahead to scout for threats. Each drone was intercepted and destroyed by the Guardians before it could relay information back to the command ships. Alien pilots began to panic as mechs were crushed by tentacles emerging from the deep and torpedoes struck at the exact right moments. Human submarines launched coordinated attacks, targeting engines and weapon systems, while the Guardians struck at weak points that humans could not reach. Explosions rocked the water and echoed across the surface, sending shockwaves that rocked nearby alien vessels. Panic and chaos spread through the alien ranks as more ships were immobilized, and their retreat paths were blocked by massive Guardian movements. Coastal observation teams watched in awe as waves erupted violently, revealing glimpses of the massive creatures moving in perfect coordination with humans. Alien drones sent to cover retreats were torn apart mid-flight, their signals lost in the chaos. Alien leaders shouted orders that went unheard as communications failed under the relentless assault. The humans, now fully confident in their strategy, pressed forward with relentless attacks, using torpedoes, energy pulses, and deep water mines that had been planted days earlier. The Guardians executed precise strikes, crushing mechs and dragging ships into trenches where no alien could survive. Fear replaced arrogance as alien pilots realized that Earth's oceans were alive, intelligent, and working against them with human allies. The combination of human technology and Guardian power created an unstoppable force, pushing the alien fleet into disarray. Ships collided as pilots tried to escape the coordinated assault, while Guardians circled them from below, making escape impossible. From command submarines, humans watched the enemy collapse systematically, their morale breaking with every ship lost. The aliens' arrogance had blinded them to the planet's defenses, and now they were paying the ultimate price. Every strike was precise, every movement synchronized. Humans had studied the Guardians' behavior, learning patterns and using them to anticipate enemy actions. The Guardians responded instantly to human commands, striking faster and stronger than any alien technology could counter. Explosions erupted across the open waters as alien vessels were torn apart. Panic spread to command ships as they lost control of their remaining mechs and drones. Desperation turned into chaos, and the fleet began to scatter in every direction. But escape was impossible. The Guardians blocked every path, forcing the aliens into the open where submarines fired relentlessly. Waves crashed violently as massive ocean creatures breached the surface to strike armored ships, capsizing them or dragging them into the deep. The aliens realized too late that their strategy had failed completely. Human forces were relentless, precise, and unstoppable when combined with the Guardians. Every attempt to regroup or counterattack was met with overwhelming force. Alien leaders could only watch as their fleet crumbled, their control over Earth's oceans shattered. Humans cheered silently in the command submarines, watching as the final wave of alien ships was destroyed or forced into retreat. The Guardians returned to the deep, circling one last time to ensure that no enemy vessel remained in control of the waters. For the first time in centuries, Earth's oceans were free, defended by humans and the ancient forces that had always lived beneath the waves. Coastal cities celebrated cautiously, knowing that the battle was not over, but confident that their planet had fought back with a power the galaxy could not ignore. Alien invaders who had once claimed dominance were now humbled, their arrogance replaced with fear. Humans had proven that Earth could defend itself, and the Guardians had shown that the oceans were alive, intelligent, and deadly when challenged. The final strike had turned the tide completely, and the message was clear to every species watching. No one could conquer Earth without paying the ultimate price. Suspense remained as the aliens retreated into the depths of space, but the humans and their Guardians knew they had sent a warning that would echo through the galaxy for generations. Together, they had reclaimed the oceans and shown the universe that Earth was not a planet to be taken lightly, that intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome the most advanced technology, and that the Guardians of the Deep were the ultimate protectors of the planet's waters. The tide had fully turned, and Earth had proven its strength, leaving the galaxy in awe and sending a clear warning to all who dared threaten the planet in the future. After the decisive victory over the alien invaders, Earth's oceans slowly returned to a calm state, though beneath the surface, the Guardians remained alert, circling and watching for any sign of another threat. Human naval forces patrolled the waters cautiously, knowing the galaxy had witnessed their power and would not forget. On command submarines and coastal bases, officers debriefed and celebrated quietly, knowing that this victory was only the beginning of a long watch to protect their planet. Dr. Mara Sullivan and her team analyzed every detail of the battle, studying the Guardians' movements and human coordination to prepare for future encounters. Cities along the coast slowly returned to normal life, but people knew they had been spared by forces far older and stronger than anything they had ever imagined. Rumors spread of the massive ocean creatures that had struck down the invaders, stories that captured the imagination of humans and warned other species that Earth was defended by both human ingenuity and the guardians of the deep. International cooperation increased as nations realized that humanity's survival depended on unity, technology, and understanding the ocean's hidden power. Meanwhile, the guardians themselves communicated in ways humans could barely comprehend, their signals subtle but precise, ensuring that humans would always be aware of potential threats before they arrived. Training programs were established, blending human naval tactics with insights gained from observing the guardians, creating a new generation of defenders who could act in tandem with the ocean's intelligence. Scientists, historians, and military strategists worked together, documenting the battle, learning from successes and failures, and preparing Earth for the day when the galaxy might retaliate. In the shadows of the deep, the guardians moved silently, marking and memorizing patterns, ready to respond instantly to any intruder. Above the waves, humans enhanced their fleets with new technologies inspired by alien machinery captured during the battle, creating ships and weapons that could operate in ways no enemy would expect. Public morale soared, yet leaders maintained vigilance, knowing that the victory had also painted a target on Earth for those who underestimated humans. Ambassador Li Chen addressed the United Nations, emphasizing the importance of global unity, while scientists held conferences about the Guardians, their intelligence, and the importance of maintaining their protection of the oceans. Families along the coasts shared tales of the battle, teaching children that courage, unity, and respect for nature could overcome even the most powerful enemies. Meanwhile, alien observers in distant star systems reported the battle to their empires, spreading tales of humans who could fight alongside forces that seemed almost mythical, warning that Earth was no longer a simple target. Suspense lingered in the minds of humans and aliens alike, for while the oceans were safe and the Guardians had proven their loyalty, the galaxy was vast, and threats could come from unexpected corners. On Earth, humanity's leaders began building new alliances with nearby alien civilizations that had watched the battle, offering protection in exchange for cooperation and mutual respect. Technology research accelerated, blending human innovation with lessons learned from alien machinery and the Guardians' natural abilities. The oceans became both a training ground and a barrier, ensuring that humans and Guardians could respond quickly to any incursion. Coastal cities invested in emergency protocols, evacuation plans, and communication networks, preparing for the day when the galaxy might test Earth again. Dr. Sullivan's team discovered hidden underwater structures, possibly ancient relics of the Guardians' origin, and began exploring their secrets, knowing that these discoveries could strengthen humanity's position even further. Meanwhile, the Guardians themselves seemed to grow more attuned to human behavior, responding with precision and intelligence in every coordinated maneuver, proving that trust and partnership could overcome differences between species. In schools, children learned about the battle not just as history but as a lesson in courage, strategy, and unity, inspiring a generation that would grow up knowing that humans were capable of protecting their planet against any odds. Above all, humans understood that their victory had not only secured the oceans but had also sent a clear message to the galaxy. Earth was defended, humans were strong, and the Guardians of the Deep would never allow the planet to fall. The suspense of the unknown lingered, for every radar blip, every signal from the stars could carry a new threat, but humans had learned to expect the unexpected, to act boldly, and to trust in the combination of their own courage and the unseen power beneath the waves. As night fell over the oceans, waves shimmered under the moonlight, and deep below, massive shadows moved silently, reminding humanity that their planet was alive and watching. The galaxy may have assumed that Earth was weak, but now humans had proven otherwise, and the aftermath of the battle was a constant reminder that vigilance, strategy, and respect for the Guardians were the keys to survival. For the first time in centuries, humans could sleep knowing they had fought back and survived, but every eye remained on the horizon, every mind aware that the victory had only begun a new chapter in humanity's story. Suspense remained high, for the galaxy was vast, and humans had only scratched the surface of their own potential, discovering that courage, unity, and partnership with the Guardians could turn the tide against any enemy, anywhere, at any time.